Hi guys, it has been a while, but we are going to do another art journal page. This time we're going to use this Tracy Scott 26062 set. So it's one of those pattern piecing sets, and we're going to make some butterflies out of those. So with stamps, we're going to use a stamping block and archival ink. You can use any ink that you want if you want, not necessarily archival ink, but crisp black ink. I have some paper here because we're going to make our own background. So I have a bunch of shades of blues here, and I'll go through the colors when we get to the pages that we're going to make, but we're going to blend out the background. So blend the colors, making a light paper and a darker paper and a darker. So we'll be able to create kind of different shades of the same colors, but blended out. Okay, so we're going to use paint that on just some regular paper. This is thick cardstock. I usually use Neenah 110 pound, but any cardstock would use. I just like the thicker when you're using paint, especially this paint. This is an opaque paint, so that I can cut it up and put it in my journal. We're going to put this in the new Diane Reevely journal. So this is her new one. You can tell that it's new with the cover, but this journal is cool because it has 3 different types of papers. So the first paper is her normal cardstock, her regular thick cardstock that's in her previous journals. Okay, then it also has black paper, so we're going to take advantage of the black paper. Instead of like having to paint black paper, I'm going to take advantage of this, and I am going to put the butterflies here kind of in the center, and we'll do a cool background trick when we get there. I'll get there. Then it also has a cardstock, or it has cardstock. It has what is it called? Craft. So it's craft paper, which is really cool because your paints and stuff show up differently on craft paper than it does on the regular cardstock. So I love this journal. I do carry these in the shop. If you are interested, put a comment below or send me an email. I'll put an email here that you can let me know if you're interested in any of these products that I mentioned. The stamp set, we have those in stock at the shop, and yeah, let me know. We will also be using, I have a craft mat back here because I'm going to be painting. Just any paintbrush, some scissors to cut some stuff out. I have my pens, so I have some black pens, like a Sharpie pen and some Copic pen. It doesn't matter. You can use whatever black pens that you want. The gold Signo and the white Signo. So this is my favorite white pen. It's a white Signo pen. Uniball, so I like it, and as I look at this, it looks like this one's almost empty. I might need to get another one, but this is a gold pen because I grabbed some neutrals, some whites and blacks and gold for the background, so I might do some splattering. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So let's get started with the painting. So the background here, I'm going to paint, I have 3 different pieces of paper here, and we're going to paint different shades of blue because I want, when I stamp those wings on, I kind of want the inside of the wing to be darker. So this inside of the wing to be darker, and then this kind of lighter, or lighter and darker, however you want to, but I'm going to go darker to lighter, and in order to make that, I want a gradient of those colors. I think I'm going to do 3 butterflies, depends on how it fits on the page. But just to start off, I'm just going to paint the background because I can. You can use cardstock if you want to do this, but I love to kind of make my own background. And before, in the previous video, I used my jelly plate to put some paint down. You can do that as well. You can use pattern paper. You can do whatever you want. But today, we're going to do the painting deal. So I have a little extra craft mat here that I'm going to put my paint on. I'm going to start off with the light colors. So the colors that I have are, and I'm doing it from kind of light to dark, I have chalk, iceberg, blue oyster, summer sky, a bit fishy, shutters, and glass blue. So you can see there's a kind of a, what is that called? Ombre. So there's an ombre of different colors. This is a neutral color. The Iceberg is a lighter blue color. And on. So I'm gonna kind of mix it up a little bit and do like the chalk and the blue oyster for the first one and a bit fishy. Okay, so those are kind of lighter colors that we can blend. You can use whatever color palette that you want and whatever scheme that you want. But this is a technique that I learned from Joffe, so also an artist at Paperartsy, is really just kind of blend through the paper. So I have my water here. I have just a regular paintbrush. This one wasn't washed out, so it's all gross. Just a regular, sorry, a paintbrush. It doesn't matter. Pick a paintbrush. I'm gonna pick a thicker one, so that I'm not doing it all the days. Okay, so I am going to start in the middle. I'm going to start with the blue. So remember, I wanted it to be dark and then go to light. So I think I'll do that. So I'll do the blue in the middle, darker blue, then the lighter blue, and then the light blue. So I'm going to wet my brush a little bit, put some of the paint on to my paintbrush. And you want a pretty good dollop of. And the water is going to help this move. So Paperartsy paint is a fresco paint. It's a chalk paint, so it's a matte chalk paint. And this particular color palette I have is very opaque. So it is a very thick, and I have a cat hair that I need to get off my paper. I have a very big poofy cat, my cat Nero. So I'm just going to put kind of a healthy in the middle here, just paint it. Then I'm going to go in with the blue oyster. I'm not going to rinse off my brush. I'm just going to automatically kind of dip into that so that it blends well. So see, I have a little bit of that blue there, but we want it to kind of blend together. We don't want it to be just like just a separate stripe, right? So see, that's a little stripey. So I'm going to take some water, some of that dark blue, and blend it a little bit. Okay. Then I'm going to go, and I'll go back in with some more of that dark one. So I'm going to go in with the chalk, and this is an off-white, so it creates kind of that blendy in between the light and dark there. Okay, a little bit more water. That was too much water. Okay. Okay, so kind of blending it out. I want a little bit more of that dark blue in there. So again, I'm not going to wipe off my brush, but not rinse it off. Let's get some of that dark blue back in there. Okay. So bring that dark blue back. So then it creates a blend, right? So we're essentially blending light to dark. And that's it. So that's one. Sorry, another cat hair. Some of you may have cats. No must struggle. Okay. So that is the one of the papers. Okay, you can see that blend. So I'm going to set that aside to dry. Now I'm going to do like Iceberg, and this is a bluer. And how about Summer Sky, and add a darker one. Okay, Shutters. So we're doing Iceberg, Summer Sky, and Shutters. And the same technique. glass blue, and let's go to back to a little fishy, and let's do the shutters. Okay, so maybe we'll do glass blue, shutters, and a little bit fishy, so dark, dark there. Okay, this is the lighter blue. And then this is the lightest blue. Okay, and this first one that I already did is already dry. So I'll put those other sides. So it's not like 100% dry, but we can stamp on top of that. You can feel, here's a trick, if you're painting on paper, right, especially if you have a lot of water, it's cold. So if it's still a little wet, it's going to be cold, even though it doesn't look like it's wet. So it's like if it's not shiny. Anyway, so now that we have that stamped, painted, this is painted, we are going to look at how I want to arrange those stamps. These are butterfly wings, right? And like I said, we want dark to light. Okay, so that's why I did it this way, so I could put the middle of the stamp dark to light. Okay, so like this, if I want. Here. So then do two on the same side, so they're kind of symmetrical. I can go even dark, like lighter. Okay. Because I went to all this trouble painting, I might as well stamp all of the things so that I can use them, like if I can change my mind on my butterfly if I want to. So I have enough space here that I can stamp each one of these butterfly, the wings, right? Each of these pieces. But you can use these for a gajillion other things. And then flip them over, right? So I'll stamp two of these, two of these, two of these, okay? With my black ink. I'm gonna keep my paints out in case I want to paint something darker. I'll also leave this in the middle, so once I get these pieces stamped, I may have these pieces that I want to stamp darker, or even a different color if I want to make this a different color, like gold if you want. But this is going to be my middle, the middle of my butterfly. It makes just kind of a creative butterfly. Yeah. Okay. So here I go, stamping. This is Archival black ink from Close to My Heart. You can use any, like I said, any black ink. Sometimes we use like the VersaFine black ink, but we're going to be inking over the top. If you're planning on painting over the top or doing something wet over the top, if you use Archival ink, it's permanent. So Archival ink is typically my first go. And if you make sure it's juicy, okay, so re-inker, the black Archival ink re-inker is one that I use all the time, so I've used up multiple re-inkers, so to make sure that it's juicy once you get there. And this is just a Neenah Media stamping block. You can use any stamping block that you want. And to get a really good image. I'm not going to do them all at the same time. I'm just going to do one at a time. So now I have them all stamped. So I have that one, that one, that one here. Okay, so I'm going to cut them out. So I'm just going to take some scissors, fussy cut a round of these, and then piece them all together. So you don't need to watch me fussy cut because that's exciting as it is. So I will be right back when I have these cut up. Okay, so be right back. Okay, so I cut them all out. Here's all the pieces. Also, I will say save the big pieces. So I have, these are the big pieces that I have left over. This stamp, so the pen may be a middle part, and we maybe use this for the middle part, but you can also use this for sentiment. So depending on what sentiments we're going to put on the art journal page, if you save some of those big pieces, like this one's probably too little, I can throw that one away. But just save these big pieces. You can also, if you're a paper hoarder like I am, you spent all this time painting, so are there other little stamps that you can use too? So I save those. I'll just put those on the side here. Collage paper, you could use this, cut them up as, put them as collage paper on the back. Like there's a whole bunch of things you could do with this. Just stick them in an envelope and keep them. Okay, so now I'm going to take all of these pieces and make my butterflies. Okay, so I have, like see how it shadowed, like it made a natural shadow, so it looks kind of cool. The light, so whatever pieces you want to do. That's one of my butterflies. This is the other of my butterflies, right? More of like a dragonfly. This is the other one. So I have 3. Now, what I want to do is, if I take a black marker, and it doesn't matter, you can use a permanent marker, or this is just a brush marker. So this is like a brush marker. I'm going to go around the edges here so that it doesn't look like it's white paper. So that's just a trick to take the white off of, because it's thick paper when I cut it. So I'm going to do the edges of all of these. I highlight some of these items here in with my pen work. So you have your white pen, I have a gold pen again, and I have a pencil if I want to do some shadowing. But I'm going to color, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these pens and I'm going to color some of the insides. I'm also going to take some paint. So I may take a really thin paintbrush and paint in the, say I want this to be that dark blue, or if I want to bring in, say, like the Iceberg, I can make some of those highlights there. So I'll use some of the paints. So I have those on standby, really to help it blend a little bit more and make it pop. If you wanted to, you could use another color. So you could introduce, say, green there, or you could introduce pinks or purples. But for mine, I'm going to do monochromatic just because I want to. All right, so I'm going to play some tunes, and you can watch me draw. Look at all the difference that penwork made. And I had no plan, so you could do the white pen, like you could do it when it's still on the paper if it's easier for you, but I think for me it's easier to see kind of how it fits together. So this is one butterfly. Okay, so it all ties together. This is your other butterfly. Okay, so now we need the middle, the body of the butterfly. With the gold and the white, I think that it won't matter. I think I'm going to go with the dark blue for the stamp. I'm going to do them all this one because there's the key. You could do the key as a body. I think it'll take away from, I could cut it and have a little body. No, I'm going to do just 3 of these. The one thing I will say to make sure that when you stamp, if you're stamping with Archival Ink, it'll dry faster. But if you do like a pigment ink or like the Claire ink, you may want to make sure before you cut everything out, you may want to make sure it's dry completely. So a heat gun, you could dry that. Same thing with these, like if your white gel pen, you want to let it dry before you draw on top of it, or you don't want to smudge it, right? You did all this work and it's gonna not, you don't want it to smudge. So now I just have a little bit of gold or glue. This is glue. You don't necessarily, it's just glue, whichever glue that you have, to glue these all together. So I'm going to take some masking tape because it's going to be, I'm going to stick it on my art journal anyway when I glue it. So this will help me to, just with the placement, right? Because I'm not going to see the back of it anyway. So I feel like these are too long. I'm going to cut it. I know I spent all the time. Cut it a little bit. Okay. And then I'm just going to take some glue and put it down the middle here. It's too much glue. Okay, there's one. Alright, so there's my 3 butterflies that I have, There's one, there's two, there's three. Kind of cool. They blend, but they're not the same, and you still have the tone of the light and the dark, right? Light and the dark of what we started with. I probably put a lot of detail on there, but I like it. So I have a trick that I learned from Tracy Scott. So this is just plain black piece of paper. And while it's kind of cool when you put something like this on it, like it kind of is just a plain piece of black paper. So she takes her a stamp and stamps with black ink on the back of it. So I have some textured stamps. So I have this stamp set. It's TS061. It's her also her new stamp set. So this is a flower, so butterflies and flowers, right? So I'm going to stamp these just all over with Archival Ink on the back, so it will highlight there. So we get my stamp here. And you can barely see it. Like, you can see it's black on black. You probably can't see it on the camera, but when you look at it in person, right, you can see that there's some texture there. So I'm just going to take these stamps. I'm going to stamp them all over in my journal. See that, and I can see it, but that doesn't really mean anything. I don't know if even if I hold it up to the light, I'll hold it up and pretend that you can see it. Anyway, so I essentially created my own background paper so that it has some texture when I put the butterflies on it. Okay, so that's kind of cool. You can have them like fly in a direction. I also want to add, like I have, so, you know, when butterflies become butterflies, whatever, I kind of want to add something else to the background. So I was thinking a square. So if I have a square that this butterfly sits in, maybe I can, you know, just a white square or a gold square. It will, I don't know. It will just kind of tie it all together, or kind of ground the butterflies. What do you think? I could do just two. With the squares. I think I like that. I like that butterfly too. Which ones should I choose? I like those two. Okay, so I'm gonna go with two. Okay, never mind on the three. I'll save that for something else. So then I'm gonna do a square. So I'll do a shaded, maybe sketchy square, so that they're sitting in it. So with the backgrounds, with this, and then gold splatter, and then maybe a sentiment, something, and then we're done. Okay, so I have these really cool things by the Simple Stories. This is why it's great to be in your craft room, right? That use the tools that you have. These they come in like a set of squares and then a set of circles. So you can use them as templates. So they're really meant for like project life type of things, but use the tools that you have, Tanya. So 4x4, here, and I'll tell you what this is in the description box below. But so that middle mark, I can kind of see it, like right there. I'm a guess, because it's just going to be a sketch. And here's my rule too. If you make a imperfect square, so if you sketch it with a bunch of lines, then when you mess up and you don't draw it right and you don't draw it straight, then you're forgiven, because it looks like you meant to do it. Because I can't draw a straight line to save my life. So I'm gonna put that ish in the middle. Okay, and sketch a square. So pretty cool tool. I just remembered that I had these. And I'm going to do a loose square. So see, didn't come out straight, but that's okay, because I'm gonna make it look like a sketch. Okay, and sketch. Okay, so now they're kind of like, it looks like a picture frame that they're in, right? So you're drawing that. So it's not a plain piece of paper. You have your stamps that you can kind of see in the background. You have this sketch that you can see. And then we'll do some splatter, some like gold and maybe white splatter. And then we'll be done. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Back to the glue. So I'm just going to glue it on. I am not going to glue all of it on. I'm only going to glue it here in the middle, because I want that texture to sit out. So here's that. There's that. Okay, I have white, so I have snowflake, and I have gold. Paperartsy has the best gold paint, in my opinion, because it's really like, it's just like a really good gold, and it's non-toxic. So sometimes when you get gold paint, it's like it stinks. Gonna do a good brush. I'm going to add gold paint, and you want to add some good water. A good amount of water for gold paint. I'm going to do a little bit of white too. Because you can never have too many. Now, you don't have to do this. Obviously, you can do what you want, but the sprinkles will add a good touch to it. And the more water that you have, the better your splatters. A lot of water. Okay. And let's do some white, just a little bit of white. Splatter's done. I hope you can see the background. The background is really cool there. I think the one final touch, I was going to do a stamp. Remember I said save your pictures of this. Not your pictures. Save your paper that you painted, and you can put a sentiment. So you could for sure put a sentiment there and glue it down. But I think to match this sketchy part, right, I'm just gonna add a word. So I'm just gonna sketch dream. Okay, so I'm just gonna sketch dream. And yeah, so minor little touch. Okay. Well, if you liked my video, give me a thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed the technique and the process. I know I've done like stamping and pen work and all this stuff, but it comes out amazing. I loved being back in the videos, so thanks for being patient with me. I appreciate you. So if you like my channel, please subscribe if you have not done so already. I will start doing more videos more frequently. I'll get back in the groove again. But again, I appreciate you. Make art because you're worth it. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.